if you want to get into something like this big, the more like genuine you are and the more you devote your life to it, the more people who actually you want to work with are willing to teach you everything.
Well, another episode of the Freedom Culture Podcast, and we're here with Joshua, a good friend of mine. And he just asked what I wanted to talk about, and I actually have a question because I know that you're working on some pretty epic things right now with the human body and how we can perfect it.
Yeah. I got into this with alchemy, right? And I got into it from having a body first and needing to understand it.
It's important.
But then through alchemy, they have this, this concept that if you seek to perfect the children of Mother Nature has her children, which is everything, right?
Yeah.
And Mother Nature is really just an extension of physics. It's not actually biology only, right? It's the substance that makes biology happen.
Yeah.
All of atomic physics, really, and chemistry together. So I got into it from that because, and the story from the alchemy side is that if you seek to perfect the children of Mother Nature, which is what Mother Nature wants to do with her children, evolving the children, you see what she's wanting to offer them, and then you help her do that, then she will in turn seek to perfect you so that you can be a clear channel for that. That's like just a central component that drives alchemy as a practice and as a study. And I got into alchemy because of that, because that's what I discovered there, and I felt really aligned with that. So as a result, now I have all these different perspectives that I didn't have before, right? How to do certain things I didn't know were possible.
Yeah.
And it opened me up to get into, stem cell research and just like understanding the body. I'm really a novice when it comes to understanding the body. There's too many things not too many to really understand, but it's just going to take a while,
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been, I don't have any problems with my body, nothing like that, but I just want to understand it all. And so I can sort of have a stable expression for my gift to the world. Like I know what I'm offering, and what I'm reaching for, so that I can truly be in service and not like be just self-serving through this.
Yeah.
It is self-serving, right? Because
you also have a body.
Yeah. And supposedly. And Mother Nature, I've seen, does actually work to make me more able to understand these really otherwise complicated processes or, systems in the body.
Yeah.
To understand those better because I'm in service in this way, I can see it differently.
Yeah.
So yeah, stem cell stuff is probably the most exciting thing I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, because we have this ability now to do something called induced pluripotency, which is where you...
Okay, yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Okay, cool, yeah.
It's basically where you take your cells that are already like your skin cell,
Yeah.
and you can turn it back into your baby cells again, and then you can turn that baby cell into your own liver cell, and like heal your own liver, or you can turn it into your neurons and heal your brain or your nervous system. But it's possible that we can actually turn them back a little bit, not all the way back to baby. And there's been tests that have been done recently where that's possible, where they turn it back from, your whole system, like your whole way they're doing it with rats.
Yeah.
The test, and they would take an entire rat and they'd expose it to this gene expression factor, and it would make them younger. It made the whole rats younger.
So you can just go back X number of years instead of
just
like
repairing.
Button thing.
Yeah, are we really going to be like forever replacing organs? Is that like the future where just like, like,
grow
I'll
on
grow it
rats
and then
and
have it installed? Like, why do we need to have this one taken out and this one put in, whenever we can just take the whole body as it is there and revert it back in age?
Yeah. So you're saying you're doing this because you're trying to figure it out so you can share it?
Yeah.
So do you feel like you're not sharing it now, or?
I don't know it yet, we're still doing research. It's like, once we have it, the reason why I feel like I want to do it is because I know that most people who did this would lord it over people.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are most aggressive with marketing and stuff, And I think that's like, I know I can market really well. I can outperform competitors in an industry if I just focus on it.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking it would be really good to get into the biotech world and offer this. when we have the human rights, the international human rights, the first one is the human right, is the right to life, right? And what does that mean? I mean, it means that you can't kill someone, right?
Yeah.
But it also means that if someone has the choice to live, to go on living, they should be able to choose that. So
Yeah.
once this becomes available, it's going to be a human rights violation to keep it from people.
It's an interesting perspective. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
The right to choose to go on living if they want that.
Yeah, that's it. It was life, liberty, and the security of person are the three international human rights, the main ones, right?
Yeah. So do you think, because if you can keep rejuvenating, does that mean eternal life?
It could, unless, you get hit by a car.
Well, yeah.
Or
okay.
just, off yourself because you're just having a
You're
bad
like,
day.
Oh, I'm done. It's been so many years.
Yeah, it could be after 300
Yeah.
years or something. You may be like,
Okay.
whatever. But I'd like to go on living for a long time.
So the first thing that pops into my mind is, what about population? Like resources, planet.
Yeah, I mean, there'd be a lot of things to figure out. What about Social Security? What about jobs?
Yeah.
What about society really as a whole? What about the entire medical industry? We couldn't you can never launch into a major transition for an entire culture
Yeah.
all at once, because it collapses the culture. And historically speaking, you can look at this every time.
Yeah.
There's an uprising, there's a fall, and the fall is terrible for people,
Yeah.
I mean, entire generations, their whole life, imagine being born, your whole life is this terrible struggle for transition, and then you never make it, you die, your kids maybe do, you don't even know.
Yeah.
Just subjecting an entire generation to that seems really irresponsible, And if you look at the history of humanity, every time that's happened, it's been terrible, So you want to
Yeah.
replace things piece at a time,
So you think there's a responsible way to do it?
Yes, there is, for sure, yeah. We've been doing it, steady for the most part. Like, as we're growing, you never grow in a culture and stay the same, right?
Yeah.
So when you grow, you have to add new things in and change them. And, it's like turn up the water a little bit, to heat in the water a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we can chill with this. We can acclimate, It's a big part of alchemy that I've learned from alchemy and from nature,
Yeah.
is that you need to create the environment for something to happen, and then you need to very slowly increase the whatever you're exposing it to, so that it can acclimate. There's you ever heard of entropy, the concept? It's like I'll define it. It's like
Yeah.
whenever a system gets more complex, it becomes more chaotic, and then it starts to fall apart.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
However, your body is very complex, right? And it's you could say it's falling apart, but it doesn't start really falling apart until a certain number of replications of cells.
Yeah.
And then you start to see these expressions, senescent cells, what they're called, expressing things in really gross ways, right? So I forgot what I was talking about that.
Slowly acclimatizing.
Yeah, I forgot what I was.
But-
Oh, entropy.
there you
Entropy.
go.
Yeah, so the opposite of entropy is called centropy. It's something you don't really hear about very often because it's not accepted widely.
Okay.
But we're a product of Centropy, a complex system that has gotten more order as the complexity increases.
Yeah.
Only we haven't sustained it beyond a generation, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to keep evolving by having new kids, and then they are slightly different to their environment,
Yeah.
So the concept of Centropy, though, is our future. There is no future without increased order, meaning increased complexity, meaning increased order, right?
Yeah.
And the key to doing that, like have you ever turned up hot water so slowly that it doesn't boil even past the boiling temperature?
Yeah.
And then you like put a spoon in to stir it and it just erupts into a boil?
Yeah.
It's because the system itself develops natural eddies to release heat in the right spots, in the right way, if you do it slowly.
Then I can just handle that.
Yep.
And as soon as you add something in that doesn't, it erupts.
It disrupts the system, and then it's that sensitive. So, and you can get water to go pretty hot without boiling, I mean,
Yeah.
really hot considering, right? And then you just like literally you drop a drop of salt, like
Yeah.
salt water, it just explodes.
Yeah.
So looking at that as a metaphor, it's that volatile, it's that sensitive, it's a big pot of water, so one drop isn't going to hurt it,
Yeah.
but, we get a big enough spoon to stir the pot when it's really just acclimating and getting stable, and then you have disruption and entropy is a result. I think we all want centropy. Mother Nature, everyone, everything wants centropy.
Yeah, we're all kind of working towards that, either consciously or subconsciously.
hmm
Yeah. So how, you said we're working towards this. Who's we?
I mean humanity.
Oh, okay.
We have a team, right? You know, stem cell side has a team that's like really unofficial because so in the early research stages, you know,
Yeah.
it's mostly just, you know, stem cell director. It's the director of the stem cell research lab at UCSB is the
Okay.
head of the project, and she's just brilliant. And
Yeah.
they're on second round of trials right now for a different company
Mm-hmm.
that has so far reversed macular degeneration, which is like crazy
That
using stem
is.
cells. And they did it in their lab. It's really phenomenal and, you know, game changing, you know. But they're the brilliant people, you know. And there's so many of them. They just haven't come together because the social structure around science is that as soon as
Yeah.
you get bought by somebody out of college, you have
Yeah.
to shut up and you can't say anything
Work
that you
only
do.
for them.
Yeah, and if you discover something, they might just sell it and the world never sees it.
Yeah.
But scientists, they care more about the world seeing it and they care more about it getting out there. So they're
Yeah.
all heartbroken, you know?
Yeah.
We just need a coalition of scientists that can actually share openly, and that starts from a business level because the business people are the people who are keeping the confidentiality,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So and I have
yeah.
some understanding of business, you know? I've just done a bunch of it. Not as much as the people who are already in the industries, right? So I have to like partner with really intelligent people who are, you know, the teams are really brilliant people.
Yeah.
And then I can do like 10 things at once because I'm
you have
really,
a team.
I'm really ADD, like with business, you know. I'll do a stem cell company, but then I really want to do an AI company, you know.
Yeah.
I think we have the ability to securely track biometrics with all the other data that you have, every social media post, all your data of how you look at your phone,
Yeah.
even every conversation that you're having.
Mm-hmm.
If you securely keep that, it doesn't transmit,
Mm-hmm.
and you can download it or upload it to your own device at your
Yeah.
house, then you can have a machine learning program crunch that data to find out when you are taking actions towards something or away from something in your life. It's like, oh, hey, you're doing that. You're talking about this now, and this, and this, and this is happening in your post, and your bank account is doing this.
Yeah.
All these things together. Last time we saw this, you made $50,000.
Yeah.
So maybe continue, and it'll like buzz and tell you, hey, this is good. Your phone lets you know, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's totally possible, you know. But it'll be a good 8 years of solid development on something like that.
Before something that's so interesting. So
Yeah.
it'll tell you like, oh, focus more here, focus more there.
Yeah, or like,
Yeah.
you know, say you want to lose weight, you go to the gym. It's a really practical application for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
They like go to the gym and they're working out or something, and then their heart rate's being monitored. You know, everything's being monitored in their life, both sides. So
Yeah.
as soon as it buzzes or their phone buzzes, it tells them like, oh, hey, you're going out of this area you said you wanted to go into. So,
Yeah.
or
Focus,
hey,
bring it back.
or you're going into it. Good job, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of companies doing this right now. One is called Spire. They don't do rings. They just do like a thing that monitors your breath.
Huh.
And it's wonderful because if you hold your breath for like 5 seconds or something, or 8 seconds, it knows.
Yeah.
And so if you do that consistently over the course of like 30 minutes, it starts vibrating and like, hey, you know, trying to shake you out of it. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. They're setting up for the next podcast here.
Okay, great. Yeah, no
but
worries.
yeah, that's fascinating. And I feel like you're like, oh, I'm not the smartest person out there. But when you explain it, I'm just like, what? Like, I can't even
It's
fathom
amazing.
some of this stuff.
I know,
that
it's
you've had
amazing.
to learn to be able to even have these conversations with the right people.
Yeah, I didn't actually know anything about it. They taught me, the people. It's just showing up. Like if you want to get into something like this big,
Mm-hmm.
the more like genuine you are and the more you devote your life to it, the more
Yeah.
people who actually you want to work with are willing to teach you
Yeah.
everything. You know, I probably got like 5 years of stem cell lessons in 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know, just like really cool stuff like that. So, yeah, genuine.
Cool.
Being genuine is like,
Is the key.
I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. You were the one, and I've told so many different people this over the past, I want to say it's been just under 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
We were in New Mexico, and we were walking down towards this little market, and you were talking to me about the word integrity
Uh-huh.
and like where it comes from, and how it's come into being, and how we've kind of misinterpreted it, and living in integrity actually means like putting the intention out, but then hands off and not having any expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been like life changing for me.
Yeah.
I can even still remember like, yeah, exactly where we were walking. That was crazy, but it's
Yeah.
the same thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like if you're genuine and you're living in integrity, then
Mm-hmm.
things are gonna fall into place as they should.
Yeah, and humility,
That's a
which I
huge
sometimes seriously struggle with,
Yeah.
like getting positive feedback and then not buying my own press. It's been a struggle, but it's worth it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Well, I think we're gonna have to cut this a little short.
Cool, no worries.
But maybe again tomorrow.
yeah. I'd love that. Yeah, maybe after the
Awesome.
talk or something.
After the talk. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Of course. Yeah.